Yes, I have to admit it. I'm one of those terrible people who sends out Christmas letters every year. I've been doing it since the year that Jerry was born, our first child, which was 1965. And I kept a copy of all of the letters. And it's really kind of fun. Well, it's an interesting thing to go back and look at them over the years and to see the kinds of things, the changes that have happened in our lives over the years. This is the very first one, and it says, "Unto us a child is born." And inside is a picture of Jerry when she was about 6 months old. And it talks about the birth of Jerry and how great it was to have a new baby in our lives. By the time we sent out the second one, which also shows the times that we lived in, because this one is "We shall overcome and we shall live in peace." So this was at the height of the Vietnam War. By the second one, we had 2 children. We also had a foster child from Korea. And the family was growing. The third year, I made this little design. Still only had 2 kids. We now had the pictures of them together. I don't know that there was anything earth-shaking, except that what I was talking about in the third year was that I was about to give birth, which I did in the year 1969. In 1969, we had Paul. And for the first time, we had a family picture of all of us. And Jerry actually was able to sign her name. She was old enough to sign her name. We rarely have a family picture taken because, first of all, I take a lousy picture, but that year I looked pretty good. In 1970, along came Tom. So in 1970, we're still talking about peace, and I did this little peace symbol, and I put the kids into a wreath, and we had Tom's picture on there too. It's funny, there are stains on here. I don't know what the stains are from. I'm also talking in here, we still have a foster child. I think she was also from Korea. We talked about our new puppy, Jeff, who was a Sheltie puppy. And I really, I know people talk about how horrible Christmas letters are, but I have to admit I like my Christmas letter. So in 1971, we have Joy to the World. I made that one too. And we had pictures of the 4 kids, and we also had the news that we were expecting a new baby, and that in 1972 we would have a new baby, which of course we did. 1972, along came David, and by this time Jerry was old enough that she could draw the picture for the front of the Christmas card, so she did. And the things just go on. The pictures of things that the kids have done, and I don't know, special moments in our lives. It would take too long to go through them all, and you'd be turning off this video by now. But when I was going through them all, I came to this one, which was 1996. And let me read you the start of 1996. This may be the first year where my Christmas letter was started before the end of summer. However, it's a difficult one to write. There are those who may be surprised that we're sending out Christmas greetings at all, but writing is what I do, so this year should be no exception. Many of you will already have heard, some will have not. On May 18th of this year, David was killed in an automobile accident in San Francisco. Walt and I were in New York and were unable to get back before he died, but his siblings and Grandma Reinders were with him during most of the 12 hours he was on life support at San Francisco General Hospital. After his death, his organs were donated, and he's now alive in 4 new bodies in and around California, which we find an amazingly comforting thought. The outpouring of love and support from friends and near and far was overwhelming, and more than 400 people attended his memorial at the local theater, where our kids put on an extravaganza that the local newspaper gave 4 stars. It was full of laughter, tears, anger, and incredible love. We're very proud of our children and our daughter-in-law, who was an invaluable part of all the plans during that horrible week. Now we're in the middle of trying to reshape life as it will be in a Davidless world. The rest of this, I gave a real brief summary of what the other kids are doing, and on the inside was the article that appeared in the newspaper here when David died. And then on the back, some of my favorite pictures of David. Well, two of my favorite pictures, including and the sign that was put up on the telephone pole where he crashed his car when he died. That was a hard one to read over today. It was a hard Christmas. But life went on. I like this one. This is a Noel Coward card. That was the following year. It sort of became a mixture of bought cards and made cards as the kids got to a certain age. I can't put it in there. So we went through 98, and then we came to 99. And the interesting thing about 99, this is actually the last newsletter that's in here, because in 2000 I started posting our Christmas letter on the internet. So now not only do I write tacky newsletters, I also write tacky newsletters and post them on the internet. But in 1999, it was the year that our son Paul died. And I don't announce Paul's death in here. I guess I assumed that everybody knew it. I wrote a normal Christmas letter, including a lot about Paul and the difficulty we were having. But the interesting thing about this, as I look at this, the last Christmas letter that's in here, when I go back to the first one, it says, and I didn't even notice this until today, actually, "Unto us a child is born." And when I look at the last one, it says, "Unto us a child is born." It just kind of like was one giant parentheses. And in the middle of the parentheses is our family life. And by the time I started putting them into internet format, the life had changed so greatly. At the start of this book, we were a brand new married couple, and we were looking forward to raising a family. And the letters document the raising of the family, and it documents the highs and the lows, and the diving team, and the band, and awards and disappointments and all sorts of stuff like that. And by the end of the book, we're a family that's lost two of the children that we didn't even know we were going to have in 1965, and it's just a new phase of life. And it makes Christmas difficult each year because it's not supposed to be this way. I'm not morose or anything like that. I mean, I enjoy Christmas, and I'm looking forward to having all the kids here at Christmas time, but sure to miss those guys at this time of year.
And we never know when death will shake us.